Rise and shine on Australia's Vision Christian Radio.
So, Andy, I'm very excited. On the line, I've got my Uncle John. So his full name is John Mose, but I know him as Uncle John, and so beloved in our family. Good morning, Uncle John.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to talk with you.
We are so excited to have a chat. I had to give you a call because one of my earliest memories is going to an Amy Grant concert. And it was thanks to you because you were the tour promoter for Amy across Australia and New Zealand at the time in those 80s, which was just yesterday, really. And so we thought we'd give you a buzz and ask about your Amy memories this morning.
Well, Amy is a wonderful lady, and she was very young back in the 80s and was really a new celebrity, but she really conducted herself very, very well, and we loved her music. And yeah, it was a great time. It was a major concert tour. I remember there were over 20 members involved in the tour on the band, and she had the biggest sound and lighting rig that was ever put in the Sydney Entertainment Centre at the time. I mean, That was back in 1988, I think. And the Sydney Entertainment Centre, seating 13,000 people, opened in 1983.
Wow, that's amazing. Uncle John, this is Andy here, Phil's co-host. I want to ask you, how are you? I want to ask you about being a promoter back in the 80s, because Christian music was kind of marginalised back then, wasn't it? It wasn't so mainstream like it is now. And how did you find it then compared to, say, now, if you were promoting Christian acts now? What do you think the major differences are?
Well, we promoted it completely differently than you would promote a secular act. We had about 500 churches that with youth groups that we would contact individually and get the youth groups to organize groups of young people to go to the concert. We would sell them the tickets at a price where they could afford to, the youth group could give, say, half the tickets away to their unchurched friends and bring them along so they would hear something about the Christian message through the artist. And so the mainstream people and the mainstream media would never get to hear about really a concert tour happening. And that was completely different. We didn't use television. We would use Christian radio, but we wouldn't use television. We wouldn't use newspaper advertising. We would just do flyers and direct mail at that time, because it was really before the internet was, social media was just non-existent at that time.
Isn't it interesting? I wonder, some of the venues, I'm thinking the Sydney Entertainment Centre, were they surprised to see the tickets sell out?
Absolutely. I remember, setting up. First of all, the rig was the largest rig, as I think I said, that had ever entered the Sydney Entertainment Centre, and people just said, wow, as the big trucks pulled up with all the equipment, and they said, we don't even know. I mean, are you going to expect any people to come? And I said, oh, yeah, it'll be full, and they wouldn't believe me. But when the crowds began to come, they really were just amazed. They were absolutely amazed, and we sold it out. We got 13,000 people to the concert. The thing that I would point out, people used to think that we made an awful lot of money, but the reality is the costs people just didn't understand, and we really had to sell over 90% of the tickets even to break even. So the break-even point was around 93%, I think, of sales. So if we didn't have a sellout, we lost money.
Wow, it's a big
risk. So it was a real grassroots ministry campaign. It sounds more like organising a crusade than a concert. But Uncle John, let's get on to Amy, because everyone loves the memory of Amy and her music, but you had up-close interaction with Amy. What was she like as a person back then?
Well, she was young, and she was very quickly made into a celebrity. She was a lovely person. She was married to Gary Chapman at the time, and, their marriage was very, very new. They were just a young married couple. And in some ways, the downside of touring for a young girl like that at that time probably was that it was a very unnatural environment, and probably it led towards their marriage breakup in the end. A few years later.
Yeah, wow. It would have been tough. I'm trying to imagine what it would have been like being Amy back in the day. When you've got 20 people travelling along with her as well, Uncle John, was there any strange requests? You know, you hear of people in there, I need certain colour M&Ms in the backstage. Or was there anything like that with Amy?
Well, they had a very extensive rider, which you could understand. We had to provide a full banquet meal at the back of the stage. And even the riders that we received, the food riders, were very, very explicit. For example, they even told us what kind of lettuce they would like, and we had to order it in specially, and certain brands of goods. But that was because they were very concerned that the group would eat well before the concert, and that was really to do with their health. But yes, it was all very, very well set out. But then we got those riders very early on, and we had plenty of time to prepare for them.
I wonder, Uncle John, when I'm thinking about, you mentioned that a big part of what Amy was doing and the way you were promoting was through churches to get the unsaved, people who didn't know Jesus, along to the concert. Was there a great response to Amy's performances? Did you see people coming to Christ?
Well, we didn't actually see them at the concert. It wasn't like an evangelical meeting.
No.
But we did hear back from various youth groups that young people that came to the Amy concert continued to come along to the youth group. Mm-hmm. And through the relationships of the groups, people found the Lord, young people would find the Lord and begin to understand that Christianity wasn't just a very stuffy religious sect, but it was all about the person of the Lord Jesus Christ and meeting and having a relationship with Him. And it was a very vibrant, living thing and very contemporary for young people to be part of. So it was a means of introducing people to the group and then forming part of the group. It was an outreach in that way.
Yeah. Well, Unky John, it sounds like you're a real pioneer, and people like you have probably laid the foundation for Christian music to be what it is today. But before you go, we've got to ask you, what is your favourite Amy Grant song and why?
Well, I love the Age to Age and El Shaddai songs, and really it's the message of the music that I really enjoy, and so, you know, the words. And so it really has those songs have a very strong message.
Do you want to sing one for us quickly or just the chorus? What do you think?
Really, I'm a promoter. I'm not really a singer.
No.
Never say never, Unky John. Who would have thought at 78 Donald Trump will be running the world right now? He's living the old man's dream, isn't he? I think maybe it's not too late for you, Unky John, to sing us a song. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. No, I really don't think so.
But if you want to sing, Andy, we could get you in touch now with a wonderful promoter.
I'm always singing in the shower. But Unky John, hey, what a pleasure to talk with you. And who knows, maybe we'll check in with you again next time there's a big Christian concert in Australia. We want to thank you so much for joining us on Rise and Shine today.
Thank you, Andy, and all the best with your show and blessings on all your listeners.
Oh, thank you so much, Uncle John.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.